Hello, and welcome to a little video about Target 8b, where we're going to be proving triangle congruence theorems. First of all, let's take a look at the marks, or tick marks, that indicate congruent segments or congruent angles. Notice that sides are marked with lines, those are those kind of tick marks, and angles are marked with like a little curve. Notice that one side has one tick mark and a different side has two. One angle has one marker that's like a half circle, and another one has two. And that is the way we differentiate different sides and different angles. All right, so let's take a look at the different congruent sides we have here. So the first one has one tick mark, and it goes from A to B. That is congruent to the other side that has one tick mark, which is right here, from F to D. Right, let's see what other congruent sides we have. We also have the two tick marks. So we have BC right there. And that is congruent to ED. Wonderful. Now let's take a look at our angles. All right, so let's start with the one with one swoop. All right, so we have this one right here, that's angle A. We've got this one, and we've got that one. So let's check it out. Angle A is the only angle that has an A in it, so I'm going to just call it angle A. It's congruent to this one right here. See how this B has two angles in it? So I'm going to have to be very specific. The angle that I'm talking about goes from C to B to D. So this one is going to be angle C, B, and D. And I have one more that's congruent, and that's letter F. F doesn't have any other angles attached to it, so I can just call it angle F. All right, let's see what else we've got. We have this double arc right here for angle B, and one right here for angle D. Notice that both B and D have several possible angles there, so we're going to have to be very specific in how we call them. For this angle B, I'm going to call it angle ABC. And let's take a look at this angle D. I'm going to call it FDE. So I know exactly where that angle exists. All right, let's continue. For these two problems, let's write the congruent statements. So everything that's congruent in these triangles. All right, so first I notice the tick marks on the sides. I think that's the easiest one to see. So then we have RS and WB, not D. I don't know why I wrote a D. Wonderful. Next, let's check out our angles. I have a single angle mark right here and right there. And I'm going to have to be pretty specific because there can be two angles for each of those. So for the one that has an X in it, I'm going to call it WXB. All right. And the one with the T, I'm going to call it RTS. Right. And we have one more congruence here, and that's this double angle there, and then this one right here. Both of them only have one angle, or one possible angle each, so we have angle R and angle W. Alright, let's take a look at number 2. Once again, I'm going to start off with the sides, because they're just a little easier to do. I have this tick mark and that tick mark. Okay, so we've got from T to D, congruent to D to Z. We also have some angles. We've got this angle right here and that angle right there. All right, so the angle with D in it has two possibilities. So I'm going to make sure to name it very carefully. It's angle TDM. And for angle Z, well, there's only one possibility for that, so I can just call it angle Z. Let's do the same thing for number 3. Ooh, there's several sides that are congruent. Let's start off with the single tick marks. So we have SY and AY. Then we have a double tick mark here and here. So that's MY and ZY. y. And then we have two congruent angles. There's one there and one there. Now they're both angle y's, but I've got to be specific in the way I name them. So I'm going to name the one on the left angle SYZ, and the one on the right I'm going to call angle MYA. All right, success. Let's continue on to the next part. So here, what we're going to start doing is proving triangles congruent. We needed to make sure to be able to understand the tick marks we see in order to use them to prove triangle congruencies. Now there are three possible congruencies. There's side, 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 and angle, side, angle. So yes, they need to be in that particular order. So let's check out whether or not these four upcoming triangle pairings are congruent. All right, so number 4 says that these two triangles are congruent, but let's just double check. So I do notice they both have a side tick mark, so I'm going to label it S for side. I'm going to follow the triangle, then it has an A for an angle over here, A for angle over there. And then afterwards it has a double tick mark for side right there. It goes SAS in order. They're all connected. Beautiful. Yes, they are congruent, and they're congruent by SAS. So let's write down all the congruent statements. So the side I labeled in purple is PN and VU. All right. Then the angle I marked in, is that blue? We've got angle N, congruent to angle U. And then we also have a third side that's in a row. We have side NO, congruent to side UW. All right, success. Let's take a look at number 5. Once again, we have 3 things marked. Okay, let's see if they are actually congruent. So I have a side here, then an angle, and then another side. Let's check out the other one. We've got a side, we've got an angle, and a side. Now, unfortunately for us, we do not have anything that goes SSA or ASS, right? So nothing that would connect these 3 things or even those 3 things. So this is not congruent, but we can still write our congruency statements. All right, the sides that are congruent in these triangles are BA and ED. They also have a congruent angle, which is angle A and angle D, and that second congruent side is BC and EF. Now, unfortunately, even though they have 3 things that are congruent, they are not congruent in the particular order that they need to be, which would be SSS, SAS, or ASA. It is tempting for this one to say that it is SAS, but if we had SAS, the side, the angle, and the side would all be connected to each other. That's why it doesn't work for number 5. Okay, let's take a look at number 6. All right, I see an angle. Oh wait, I was going to start that with purple. Let's do that again. Got angle on this first triangle, side, and an angle. So hopefully these will be congruent by ASA. Let's see, it has an angle here, the same as the purple. The tick mark for the side is right there, and then the second angle. Fantastic, ASA for both of them. All right, so yes, let's write down the congruent statements. First, the angle that is congruent is that right angle they both have, which is angle A and angle E. Then they have a congruent side, which is AR and EO. And they finish up with another congruent angle, which is angle R and angle O. Fantastic. Let's take a look at number 7. Ooh, this one's actually probably the easiest one to see. Let's see. They both have a side with 1 tick mark, a side with 2 tick marks, and a side with 3 tick marks. So these are congruent by SSS. Let's write down the congruencies. First, we have AR congruent to EO. The second side, the one with 2 tick marks, is RM, which is congruent to OG. And the last side that we have that's congruent has 3 tick marks. So that would be MA, which is congruent to GE. Fantastic! And that is it for the first lesson of Target B. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask me or your teachers, and we'd be happy to help you. Have a wonderful rest of whatever day it is for you. Bye!